We finished just like how we started. We started with Atharv with an amazing song, and we're finishing with this passionate young human who's at his house with some electricity difficulties, but he's getting over it. He's making it work. He's making it work. Atharv, what's up?
Hey man, I was just a bit of tense, but then it's fine. Like we are still gonna rock it and like do our best. So never mind. That's the spirit of the whole DoK community, and I'm gonna keep it up. So
And also, isn't it fitting that your talk is about disaster recovery? Is that a was
exactly.
this was this planned? Was this planned, Atharv?
Well, you can say so. Maybe the electricity people in my area, they might be knowing that I'm gonna give a talk about disaster recovery. So maybe because of that.
Yeah.
So let's jump into.
Let's jump into it and share that screen. Let's do it.
I'm sharing the screen. So is it visible?
Yes, it
assuming
is. Yes, it is.
Well, yeah, okay then. Hello everyone, hello again. I'm Atharv, and I'm glad that you're still here and seeing me in this torchlight thing. And just in case you don't know, I'm going to talk about disaster recovery and something which I'm experiencing right now. But never mind. So let's jump into it. So I'm Atharv, currently a senior pursuing my bachelor's in electronics and telecommunication engineering from Pune University, India. And just in case you think that this smile is way too enthusiastic, so mind it, that much enthusiastic for open source community as well. So disaster recovery. Imagine you're just about to go to bed thinking to have that sound sleep after finally working for so long that you get a phone call saying there is something wrong with the infrastructure, or maybe something is just not working and crashed at your workplace. Exactly. So that is what we're going to talk about today. And just in case you still haven't seen this rather annoyed yet cute cat's reaction after losing her data, well, you just did. So starting from the past. In the pre-Kubernetes, pre-container world, backups and recovery solutions were generally implemented at the virtual machine level. That used to work for traditional applications when applications used to run on single virtual machines. But now when applications are containerized and managed with an orchestrated tool like Kubernetes, that system plainly falls apart. Which means effective disaster recovery plans for Kubernetes must be designed for containerized architectures. And this is why you need disaster recovery plans, because this whole thing we often tend to experience these sort of things like maybe a cutout or maybe a server explosion, and we'll talk about more in the coming slides. And this is why you need disaster recovery because we don't want you to be like this or like this and even like this. So that was a really apt example from just the happening of Facebook outage. So let's go back to the time and let's talk about the technology now. So when did this technology came into being? So Kubernetes was originally developed by Google and it was open sourced on the 7th June 2014. Since then, the maintainers of the Kubernetes is CNCF, that is Cloud Native Computing Foundation. And Kubernetes was originally written in Go. The current stable version of Kubernetes is version 1.22.2, and that is just 51 days ago. And just in case you want to see and explore more about Kubernetes, you can check it on kubernetes.io. And look what this can do and the main features of the orchestration tool. So what does this whole Kubernetes thing do? And what are the main the rise before going and jumping upon the main features and the topic that is this whole orchestrator tools and the features.
Way back. Atharv, I think that Disaster is still pursuing you. Disaster heard that you were starting to give a talk about disaster recovery, and now Disaster is more present than ever, but that's okay. It's no big deal. He's frozen, but we love him and we care about him. We know he'll be back. It's not a big deal. Perhaps just maybe would want to do it without the camera on. If you do want to take a screenshot, you are invited. I wouldn't do it personally, but if you want to do that, that's your choice. If anybody wants to take a screenshot with poor Atharv being stuck there. But we'll figure this out. There's definitely a solution. I'm going to try to ping him on Slack and see if we can get him to come back. But let's take a look. Let's see. But once again, this doesn't matter. All right. The main thing is that Atharv has worked very hard to prepare this presentation. We've rehearsed multiple times. He also played a song at the beginning. He really understands what the community is about. He helped other people with their presentations as well. Atharv, we lost you, but now you're back. It's all good, bro. Like I said, you know, when disaster strikes, disaster really strikes. I don't know if Mark Zuckerberg heard you saying things about him losing lots of money. A lot of different things could have happened, but you probably want to back up a little bit because it started to get choppy and then we kind of lost you. So anyway, turn on your microphone, share your screen, maybe back up one slide, and then you can start over.
All right, cool.
No worries, man.
So I'm hope the
Maybe, yeah, I would just maybe back up one slide just so we can, you know, get to where we needed to be. And then you can just take it from there. Yeah.
Just give me a minute.
It's all good, man. You know, we really did save the best for last. You know, that's for sure. That's for sure.
That's for sure.
There is no doubt about that. All right, it's all yours, man. Go for it. We'll be here. Don't worry. Just in case you need anything, we'll be here.
All right. So I hope you might have lost this track on this introduction thing. So we will talk about the technology again. So the original authors of Google Kubernetes was Google, and it was open sourced on the 7th June 2014. Since then, the maintainers of the Kubernetes is CNCF, that is Cloud Native Computing Foundation. So let's talk about what does Kubernetes do and what are the main features. And before talking about the Kubernetes and its main features, let's jump into the topic that is microservices. The rise of microservices caused increased usage of container technologies because the container actually offers the perfect host for the small independent applications like microservices. And the containers and the microservices technology actually resulted in application that they are now considered in hundreds or sometimes even thousands and loads of containers basically. So now managing these loads of containers across multiple environments using scripts and self-made tools was getting a bit tedious and even a bit complex. So that is where the need of the orchestrated tool and tools like basically Kubernetes comes into place. So the main features of the orchestrated tools are high availability, scalability, and disaster recovery. And now we'll go by one that what these basically features depicts about them. So high availability means applications has no downtimes, so it is always accessible by the users. Scalability means applications has high performance, it loads faster, user has very high response rate from the application, and then comes the disaster recovery. Yes, you guessed it right. The one thing that I'm experiencing terribly right now. So anyway, what is the key important thing and why it's the need of disaster recovery? So disaster recovery means the infrastructure has, if in any case, infrastructure has some problems like data is lost or the server is lost, or if something bad happens with the server center, or maybe the server is exploded, or maybe this case, like the electricity is gone, then in that scenario, in that kind of situation, there has to be some sort of coping mechanism, right? So as to pick the data from the last state and to restore it to the latest state so that the application doesn't actually loses any data and the containerized application can run from the latest state after the recovery. So now we will talk about the main basic architecture of the Kubernetes cluster. Now, I'm assuming you hope are still able to see. So this is what a basic architecture of a Kubernetes cluster looks like. The entry point of a Kubernetes cluster is API server. And then there is this component called as controller manager, which keeps tracks of whatever that is happening in the Kubernetes cluster. Then there is this another thing that is scheduler, which ensures that there is like the perfect pods placement. And exactly, you see it, that is etcd. So etcd is something you can say as the key player of the whole backing up and the restoring of the Kubernetes cluster. So let's jump into what is what does basically the architecture and the functioning of the etcd is like. So I'm assuming you're seeing, but I guess the pic is broken. I'm not sure why, but yeah, terrible things happens like with me also. So I guess like it's just me. So anyway, so I'll just like talk about what is the whole basically working of etcd. So etcd holds the current state value of the Kubernetes cluster, and it has all the configuration data inside and all the status data of each node and each container inside of that node. The backup and the restore we made are actually made from the etcd snapshots, so we can recover this whole cluster state using etcd snapshots. And while the mechanism is like the whole mechanism thing includes the etcd snapshots and all, but there is one more thing, which is that like the whole backing up thing and all, how it works. So the whole mechanism of the disaster recovery takes place by creating etcd backups and by storing them into the remote storage, and then these backups are in the form of etcd snapshots. And while Kubernetes doesn't manages these etcd snapshots and storage devices, so storage spaces by itself, but it is the duty of or the role of a Kubernetes cluster administrator, something I'm sure you might all have heard about, that is CKA. It's the basically role of the Kubernetes cluster to manage these etcd snapshots. And now we are going to talk about how is this all connected with the DoK community. Really, do I need to say more? Data everywhere. As you can all see, we have a lot of data, and so we are not so we basically need a reliable disaster recovery plans. Because consider the situation from the day before yesterday. Yes, you guessed it right. Or guessed it right. It was Facebook's outage, and luckily we still do have our Facebook accounts all safe and working. And but guess what? If there were no disaster recovery plans by Facebook, well, I'm hoping you're assuming that there can be the bad and the worst consequences that could be happening, just like this one power cutoff I'm having right now. So anyway, that's all about etcds and the importance of the disaster recovery plans. Now it is time for, if you want to explore more. So if you want to explore more, we have got you covered. Here are some of the resources. The first one, the highly recommended one resource that I'm going to recommend is Tech with Nana's playlist, which is about Kubernetes, and I'm sure it would be really helpful for the beginners. And then another one is Disaster Recovery in Kubernetes, that is by CNCF developers. And there was this conference on disaster recovery in Kubernetes. So I'm sure, just in case you love this whole scenario I'm having right now and want to know more about it, you should be checking out it. And now we will jump up with the summary. So what did we talk about? What we talked about what is disaster recovery, the need of disaster recovery, as you can all see right now. And then another one is the Kubernetes cluster architecture, and then key player etcd and working of the etcd. And that's all from my side. And now it is time for credits and shout outs. So I would like to give a huge shout out to Moinak Biswas for actually going, a very good friend of mine, for actually going through each and every slide of mine and even encouraging me and motivating me to still give this presentation despite of me having this electricity issues. And to one and only Bart Farrell. Bart, I love you, man. You're super enthusiastic, and I love that you're so helpful. And I'm really glad that you gave me this chance of giving this talk. And I'm sure I tried to nail it. And but just in case if it wasn't that great, so you can always have maybe a suggestion for me, and also I'll try to make it better. And also to make my electricity board nearby me, to inform that whenever I'm giving such presentations, they need to make sure that I'm having no cutouts. And that's all from my side. If you want to know more about me and just want to see or connect with me, and maybe feel like giving me some sort of sympathy for being able to perform this presentation in such disaster recovery plans thing, and maybe in this I'm assuming basically that you might have loved it. So I tried my level best. I hope you liked it. So these are my socials. If you still feel like connecting with me, you can check out these socials down below. And thank you. That's all from my side. Bye. Peace out.
Atharv, if you ever, and I mean ever, want to apply for a job in disaster recovery, the only thing you need to do is to show them this video, right? That's it. You won't be a code test. They won't look at your CV. There won't be an interview. They'll watch this video and be like, this guy is in. Nobody knows disaster recovery firsthand better than Atharv. I love that. Super good. No. Not only was the talk good, great information, very easy to understand, but you dealt with a very complex situation. You maintained your cool, and this is a huge lesson to everybody. You will have difficulties if you give talks. Oh, look at right now, the poor guy's frozen again. You will have some difficulties if you give talks. Things will go wrong. There will be technical issues. There will be technical problems. Oh, ahora la pantalla está negra. Okay, Atharv, are you back? I can't hear you. Porque veo la pantalla negra.
Yeah.
Now you can you hear me?
No. Yeah.
No, you're good. Okay, cool. So it seems that your electrical problem is now affecting me because it seems that we are not. No,
In the same room now.
Me refiero a YouTube. Sí. Okay. So anyway, no, but like I said, I just want everybody to know, because some people are giving talks for the first time. When you give talks, well, Atharv did something really, really smart. He practiced multiple times. I mean, we practiced like 3 times, I want to say. So that's really, really smart. Anytime you're ever going to give a presentation, practice it a lot. All right, you can never practice too many times. I want to check something really quickly. So that's extremely important. Then the other thing as well is that sometimes things can go wrong. But what you have to do is handle it exactly how Atharv did. He handled it like a pro. Just being like, okay, whatever, I'm still here to give my presentation. I'm going to do everything possible. He was kind enough as well, too, to let us know soon so we were able to coordinate with Nelly so she could go first. If you're having a problem, don't sit there and suffer in silence. Tell somebody, all right? So he did a very good job doing that, too. So Atharv has not only taught us about disaster recovery, but also about how to be a mature adult, how to be a professional, how to handle things, and how to just keep going even if you're having some difficulties. So I think it's a beautiful way to finish the day, a very strong message that will bring us all closer together in the Data on Kubernetes community. I don't think we will ever forget when this happened. This will.
We won't forget it till the time we have the video over the YouTube channel. So let's see. And I would like to say one more thing, like Bart said, which was while the time of disaster recovery or some sort of disaster, you better call your person. And that was for me today was Bart and even Moinak, because they both encouraged me to. And even this one cousin of mine, which is Rishabh Bhaiya, and he's one of my elder cousin, and like. He was like, you should be fine. You don't need to think twice about it. Just go with the flow, and everything would be good. So I hope it turned out to be good. And yeah, that's all.
Very, very good stuff. One thing really quickly. Let's see. Sorry. And let's see. But I think, like I said, is that I think we couldn't finish in a better way. There was no better way to finish today. It even worked out well that you traded places with Nelly. So like I said, we've got this, as a way to finish. But like I said, this has been the end of a very, very complete day with a lot of action. I just want to thank all of our amazing speakers. Once again, to repeat, many of whom were giving their talks for the first time. We had very few beginners or students in terms of people that are they're having full-time jobs. I think it was maybe 3 or 4. But the rest was all students. And all students with, once again, different backgrounds, different internet connections, different webcams, different computers. No, I'm not just referring to you. I talked to some people are doing this off their phone and a tablet combined. Some people, live close to, their room is close to a window, so there are cars going by. Whatever, but that's part of the experience. And so I think we as a community took a big step forward today, and it's something that as long as I'm in the Data on Kubernetes community, we'll be doing this as often as possible. I want to give a big shout out to the interns, to Kewalia, to Kunal, to Vanshika and Karuna for all the hard work they did in putting this together, but also all the speakers. For those of you that are in the audience, we did a lot of rehearsals, speakers taking this very seriously, working very hard on their PowerPoints, coming to the rehearsals and practicing a lot, asking for feedback, getting feedback, giving feedback. This really was a very complete event that was organized in a short period of time. With extenuating circumstances in different areas. While everyone's studying, we have time changes, we have all this stuff. So I just want everyone in the YouTube channel, in the YouTube chat, I was asking everyone to share the ghost emoji for you. My
favorite emoji.
Yeah, you can share whatever emoji you want. But just to finish this out. And with an announcement before finishing is that like I said, the best talk from today, we'll have to kind of review the talks, do a little bit of debating, decide who's going to give their talk in the DoK day next week on Tuesday. October 12th. So that news will be coming out soon. In the meantime, all the speakers, you've got your slides. You will have a YouTube video. We'll get those linked up soon. We'll have each talk separated. If for whatever reason we need to record a talk again, and Atharv, that's an option. You don't have to do it, but if you want to do it, that's fine. Oh, now we're getting all the ghost emojis. That's nice. So yeah, like I said, that's going to happen. But what I really encourage all the speakers to do, don't just use the talk as your way of putting yourself out there or working on your personal brand, as Diwan told us. Use this as an opportunity to really get the word out. You'll be able to share screenshots. You'll be able to share your slides. You'll be able to share the video link. You can tag all the other speakers that were in there so we all get some love and interaction going in the comments. Try to use this as much as you can. I know that I'm going to be sharing these videos because we're also going to have a lot of them one by one on my Twitter account. I'll create a big post for the whole video, for the whole event, for everyone that was involved, but individually so that I can help you get a little bit more attention and traction so that people see who you are. Remember, this is, for a lot of you, the first talk that you gave. Start thinking about what's going to be the second one. It doesn't have to be in the Data on Kubernetes community. It can be whatever you want or wherever you want, but be proactive. And for those of you that don't want to give a talk on camera, that's fine. Think about writing a blog. Think about working on some documentation. Think about doing a podcast. There are tons of other ways to get involved. You don't have to be in front of the camera doing what we're doing right now. If that's not your style, that's okay. We all have comfort zones, and we don't say go out of your comfort zone, expand your comfort zone. But for some people, they genuinely do not want to be on camera, and that's okay, all right? And that's not a small percentage of people. A lot of people don't like it. So that's totally fine. But if you can take any message from today, is that you always have a place to be in the Data on Kubernetes community. It's our job to find a way to use your talents, to get you plugged in with the right group of people. We are here to help you. We've seen a bunch of new people coming in on Slack, and you can bet that we're going to be getting them plugged in too. So anyway, Atharv, thank you so much. Shukriya on a massive level. I wish you nothing but the best. I wish you nothing but the best. Chak tefate. You play music. You deal with electrical outages, and you give good talks with very good energy. That's an amazing combination. So seriously, big thanks to everybody. Look forward to continue the conversations on Slack. Massive shout out to everyone who was involved today. And we will be closing now. So feel free to share whatever emojis, whatever comments you want to do. And we will continue the conversation on Twitter, on Slack. All right? Take care, everybody. All right, cheers.
Bye.
Bye-bye.